Eugene Solis, and welcome back to the Garcia Center, and we're continue our Native American Projects Week, and today we're making our dream catcher with feathers and a paper plate and yarn and beads. And for this project, you should have a paper plate, a small one, a couple strings of yarn that's pre-cut, a container of plastic beads, and also to draw, you can use pencils first to make your design and color your design with colored markers. And the first step you want to do is with your white plate is kind of figure out where your yarn is going to go. So you can mark holes with your pencil. Just mark where you want to go, and then I'll do it with a Sharpie just so you can see in clarity where the holes may be. And some are already pre-drawn. I would have pretty much one on the very top, so the top string could be so where you hang your dream catcher, and have 3 in the bottom for your strings or the feathers, and around the middle part maybe around 6 or 7. It's up to how much you want to do. So right here I believe I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I made 7 holes where my strings are to go in the middle with the yarn. And you can use a hole puncher if you have one. If you don't, you can either use a pencil, a sharpened pencil, or a pin. And if you're uncomfortable doing this because you're afraid you might poke yourself, you can ask an adult or an older teen to help you out with this project. And all you do is pretty much is stick your pencil or pin. For this example, I'll be using a pin. I just poke right through the paper, all the holes that I made. So right now I'm poking my holes in my paper first. And you may have to wiggle it a little bit and slide, and don't force it in too much because you might tear the paper. If you do, that's okay. Just make a hole maybe slightly off away from it so it won't make a bigger hole for when you're puncturing holes for the yarn. Just going around the plate. And you see here the dark colors where I marked them with a printed marker are my holes for the yarn. And now we need this empty area for our yarn. This next step would be to slightly fold it in half and all the way, but just fold it like this, like a taco, with your scissors. Just cut down the middle, like this, so you have a slit. And through that slit, go ahead and use your scissors to cut that hole. So I went down, and now I'm turning my plate to go around that curve. And I'm cutting around the inner circle of my plate right here. That circle shape, I'm cutting that right here, and I'll just draw it out for you real quick so you can see where I'm cutting around. And you don't have to draw it out, it's already visible on your plate, where you probably could, let's see, get it real quick. It's just that inner circle that your plate already has. So I'm going to cut around it, and this will be the inner part of our dream catcher. And now we have our main part of our dream catcher. The next part would be to use, I prefer markers, make it a little bit more brighter, but if you have to use colored pencils or crayons, that's fine as well. And I would create a simple design like I have here, using like triangles, dots, maybe even circles, which is a dot I guess, and also rectangles. And I am going to use any color. I'm going to use just red, blue, purple, or any color you get to use. And when you do this too, if the marker looks shiny on the plate, that means it's still a little wet. So try to avoid your hand going right on top of that marker while it's wet so it can dry up. I'm just doing a simple pattern with the red marker right now. And try to avoid the wet marker when coloring in. And it just takes maybe a few seconds for it to dry, not too long. It's just to avoid smudges and to make your dream catcher look neater. So I have one color down, and then I'm going to add one more color for this example. I'm going to add a green, a complementary color to red. add green. I'm adding like long rectangles. And you can make it as simple or complicated as you want for this pattern. It's really up to you. It's your dream catcher. So I only have 2 colors, but maybe add like 3 more colors to your dream catcher. So it looks something like this. So now I have all my shapes and all the holes here for my dream catcher. The next step would be to grab, you have several pieces of string. You have 3 or about the same size like this. This is for your feathers. And what I did was maybe slightly tie a knot at the end, but don't tie it all the way, just a little loop. So you can stick your feather. Each feather should have like a little stem. Stick it through the loop. Then tie it tight, like this. And this part right here, remember those 3 holes you have in the bottom to begin the project? These 3 holes down here, you put the yarn through there, and you can either use water. Oops. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I'll start again. I was not expecting to move. Last time I didn't move. Okay. Now you have these. Stop. The 3 holes you have down here. You're gonna attach your feathers. And to attach your feathers, you have 3 strings that are pretty much the same size. You're going to make a little loop, and then stick your feather stem like this, and just tighten it. And then with your beads, I pretty much put 5 beads per feather. You can just weave your beads through there. And if you want, you could possibly make a pattern depending on the colors you have, or it could be totally random. And I stick the beads all the way to that knot, and it covers the stem of the feather, so you won't see that knot, what we made earlier. And if you have a little problem with the yarn, you can use a little bit of water to tighten it up. If you want to keep it a little bit, cleaner, or if you're by yourself, you could probably use the tip of your mouth. It depends how you want to do it. But right now I'm just using a little bit of water. See, now I have 2 beads. Now I'm going to put my 3rd bead. That's what I meant. You can use your lip to do that. If you're a dream catcher, then it's fine. Or it stays at home, it's fine. But if you're given it as a gift, maybe just use water. And I'm putting my 5th bead through the yarn. And now I have my 5 beads. And then I'm going to, if you need help make the hole bigger with your pencil or pen, just make it a little bit bigger to push so this yarn go through. I just push it slightly a little bit more. I'm going to put my yarn through it. And for the way I did it, you can either loop it and tie it across from here from the plate. Or if the hole's small through a pencil or pen, you can make a knot in the back so you will not see that knot. And pull it, not super tight, but just tight enough so it hangs like this. So like I said before, you have 3 feathers and 3 strings about the same length. I have 2 right here. So what I will be doing is tying them back here. Here it is. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 2nd feather. Again, you can always use a pencil or pen to make that hole bigger, which I'm doing right now. I'm tying that knot in the back. Now I have two, so now I'm going to add my third one. So now I have my 3 feathers. Push this back. There you go. And now we can do the inner weaving part of our dream catcher. And for the inner weaving part, it will be the longest piece of yarn that we have. So your longest piece of yarn, go ahead and you can start anywhere you want. Or again, if the hole's too small, you can use your pencil or pen to make the hole a little bit bigger. Tie a knot in the back. And now start your weaving. And what I would do is to go pretty much close or right across that hole that you made. So the next hole would be the one right across it to weave it. So it looks like this. So now we have this part going here. And now from the back, choose another hole. And again, if you use your pencil or pen to make it bigger or to change the paper direction so the piece of yarn can go in easier for you. And just a little bit of water, not too much. And once again, just weave again and make the hole a bit larger with the pen or pencil. If you didn't use a hole puncher, just big enough for the yarn to slide through. Okay. And it looks like I did all my holes, and so once I've done all my holes, I will get a pair of scissors, cut it. If you have any left over, you can cut it. If not, it's fine, but I'm going to go ahead and make a knot back of my plate so it's hidden, and just pull it back to that place. And if the hole's a little too big, which I think is a little here, I'm going to double knot it. Or you can also use tape too to hold it in place just in case you think it might slip through. Right now you see I have my 3 feathers, my inner weavings, and the last part will be the top part where you actually hang your dream catcher. So with your last piece of string or yarn, you're going to loop it through. Like this. And twist the end of your yarn. You can wet it a little bit if you like. And then you're going to use your remaining beads. Just slide through it and to finish up your dream catcher. You should have about 5 remaining beads left. See, now I'm putting my 5th and final bead. And the very top, I'm just going to make a little knot. There you go, my dream catcher. So unravel those yarn a little bit, but then you have a complete dream catcher where you have your beads, your yarn, and your feathers. You can hang over your bed or wherever you like for decoration. And that concludes our project for today, and I'll see you next time with another Native American art project. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.